And welcome to the July 2022 CalSTRS board meeting. Jennifer, would you take the roll, please?
Sure. For the Superintendent of Public Instruction, Mr. Johnson. Controller Yi. Mr. Prezant. Ms. Yamamoto. Mr. Tang. Ms. Bradford. Ms. Erden. Mr. Gunning. For the State Treasurer, Mr. Buffino.
Present.
And for the Director of Finance, Ms. Miller. Chairperson Keeley, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much, Jennifer. I will entertain a motion to approve this morning's agenda with some flexibility. It's been moved and properly seconded to approve today's agenda with flexibility. Without objection, the agenda has been approved. I'd like to just make 3 points before we begin our meeting this morning. I'd like to congratulate Mr. Gunning on his appointment to the California State Teachers Retirement System Board. It's a testament to your life's accomplishments to join us as a board member at CalSTRS in this very important mission. And I'd like to thank you on behalf of the board for your willingness to serve and to give of time to serve our members of California State Teachers Retirement System. Secondly, I'd like to thank the support staff who helped prepare today's materials and get us all here safely and coordinate the effective running of our meetings. And thirdly, I can't help but think today we're in July and we're in summer recess. And as an educator myself, I'd like to, on behalf of the board, thank the educators of the state of California for all that they do every day. We appreciate you, we value you, and we love you. Enjoy the summer recess with your own families. It's been an extremely challenging time for educators all across this country, but we represent educators in the state of California. We respect you, we value you, and we love you. With that, the agenda for today, we're going to go into closed session for approximately 30 minutes. So for the members of the public, we'll be in closed session for no more than 30 minutes, and then we'll come back into open session. So if the members of the public can leave the boardroom at this time, we will have our closed session. Thank you.
The CalSTRS board meetings are live web streamed, video archived, and available to the public on calstrs.com. Individuals who wish to address the board should wait for the 10-minute public comment period at the end of the agenda item the speaker wishes to address. For comments not pertaining to a specific agenda item, there will be an opportunity for additional statements at the end of the open session. Each speaker is allowed a maximum of 3 minutes to comment. However, if there's not enough time for each speaker to have 3 minutes, the timing will be at the discretion of the chair. To protect the privacy of speakers under the age of 18 who wish to address the board, only their first name and affiliated organization may be provided, but other personal identifying information such as their last name, age, or school may not be shared. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Brings us to item 2, which is the proposed fiscal plan for 22-23, the board committee work plan. I'm going to look to our CEO, Cassandra Licknock, to walk us through that. Turn it over to Cassandra.
Thank you, Chair Keeley. The work plan just outlines the work that we're going to be doing over the next plan year, with a couple of exceptions and additions that I wanted to highlight for the board. First, I wanted to highlight that we have added the update on integrating the sustainability principles across the enterprise in the September and March meetings, where our COO, Lisa Blatnick, and Scott Chan will be working together on that transition and collaboration in including those two functions of the organization and our sustainability principles. And the other one thing that I wanted to highlight that we will be moving forward with preparing a presentation on for the board is in our May meeting, which is exploring innovation and strategy at CalSTRS. And if the board remembers, when we were in the April offsite meeting and went through our strategic planning process and outlined what activities the board would be participating in their role in the strategic plan objectives and goals, this was one of those areas where the board had a desire to have some involvement in framing the outcome of the definition and what CalSTRS wants in an innovation and strategy component and how they wanted to guide some of those discussions. So we currently have an RFO out to request information on engaging with an outside consultant to help us work through that process with executive staff, with the board members, to define what that framework is going to look like for us in the future. So that's in the May meeting, and I look forward to that discussion as we move forward. Other than that, the details of the plan are listed by month, and it's the routine business areas as well as education items that we have routinely on the plan. That's it.
Thank you, Ms. Licknock. Any questions, comments about the work plan?
Just a real,
Ms. Yamamoto?
thank you, Mr. I just have a quick question about September. I guess I'm confused, maybe you can clarify where it says board governance, board elections
There is,
versus the one in May. So they're not the same, correct?
well, one is, the one in September is in preparation for the election cycle for the 3 elected seats for the board. And the one in May is the election of the chair and vice chair for the board. Right.
Thank you, that's what I thought.
Thanks, Ms. Yamamoto.
Just wanted to clarify.
Any other questions? This is an action item. It's been moved by Ms. Miller and seconded by Ms. Bradford to approve item 2, which is the work plan for 22-23. Without objection, the work plan has been approved. Jennifer, you're looking at me like you need to take the roll. Okay, great. Item 3 is the CEO report. Back to you.
We have some photos are going to be, I have, for my CEO report, I'm going to talk about some really positive things and acknowledgements in the organization, and one of those is our Virtuoso recipients. And when I'm done, I'm going to hand over the rest of it to Julie to talk about risk. So I get the fun part, and not that risk isn't fun, but she's going to wrap it up with that. Every year, the organization has a higher level, superior recognition process called our Virtuosity program. And there is a very rigorous steps in nominating these individuals for this higher level award in the organization. The award really reflects the higher level performance of individuals, their demonstration of our core values, their behaviors, and all of the things that really make up the outstanding culture of CalSTRS. So I wanted to recognize our virtuosos this year. So some of them are here, so I'm going to ask them to stand as I call their name, but I'm going to put them up on the screen as well, because we have some staff that received the award that were not able to attend today's presentation. So our first one is Alex Milkey. Alex is an associate governmental program analyst, and works in our training analyst in our employer services area. Alex was responsible for the design, development, and implementation of training materials related to our employment and contribution data reporting, maintenance, and the internal and external training programs. So congratulations, Alex. There you go. Excellent. The next one is Amy Harvey. Amy is the Training Services Manager overseeing the Retirement Readiness Training Services team. Amy plays a pivotal role in planning, organizing, and supervising the performance of our training services unit. Her team plays a unique role in not only providing training and educational support to CalSTRS staff, such as benefit specialists, hybrid specialists, and support staff, but also a direct participation in training for our members as well. So she plays a significant role in that area. So congratulations, Amy. Not in the building today, but another recipient is Brittany Tizanos Pentos. She is a training and communications manager in service retirement. Brittany supervises a highly analytical team of trainers responsible for division-wide communications and employee learning needs. Brittany's role is to plan and organize the curriculum and ensure service retirement staff have the knowledge and skills necessary to establish and maintain accurate service retirement benefits for our members. And that is an extraordinarily important role for us in the organization. So congratulations, Brittany. Here today also with us is Carlos Guzman. He's a Staff Services Manager 2 specialist in our Human Resources Division as part of our organizational development consulting team. His primary responsibility is CalSTR's knowledge transfer and transition subject matter expert. So he really helps and plays a significant role in our succession planning development in the organization. He's been empowered to seek additional opportunities to collaborate with staff and leaders across the organization at every level to facilitate the outcome and positive transitions of very senior people in the organization. So congratulations, Carlos. The next one, also not here in the building, but a recipient is Derek Daniels. He's a pension program manager 2 in our survivor benefits program. Derek oversees all aspects pertaining to survivor benefits at CalSTRS. Derek directly manages 4 pension program manager 1 supervisors and leads their team of approximately 50 staff. As a division, he supports CalSTRS members and their survivors through highly tumultuous periods of life. And Derek's focus on exceptional customer service and clear communication is imperative in this type of work function. So thank you and congratulations, Derek. Linda Christian, who is also here today, there you are, is an associate government program analyst in our service retirement area. Linda serves as the director's administrative assistant as well as directly supporting the division's leadership team. Linda reviews, assigns, and monitors the distribution of reports, publication, memos, executive reviews, assignments from me, the DC, the COO, CFO, all of our executives, and controls correspondence on behalf of the director. She composes, edits, and finalizes correspondence and relieves the leadership team of administrative details, which can be extraordinarily burdensome. So thank you very much, Lisa, and congratulations. Renee Everts, who's not in the building, but also a recipient, is a senior writer and publication specialist for our public affairs branch and serves as a subject matter expert on CalSTR's Style Guide. She works extensively with graphic designers and program staff on production of various communication and marketing materials. And Renee represents the communication division on org-wide projects such as our pension solution, or I'm sorry, Pension 2, externally published reports, our GRI, sustainability, diversity and inclusion, our green team, and CIS reports. So thank you, Renee, and congratulations. Ryan Roth, also a recipient but not here today, is a manager in our defined contributions area. Ryan independently performs a wide variety of the most complex retirement benefits planning tasks, including conducting individual and group retirement benefits planning sessions with CalSTRS members in person, online, and by telephone and on Zoom. He is a subject matter expert in the Defined Contribution Retirement Savings Program and regularly explains the processes for enrolling into CalSTR's Pension 2 program to our membership. So congratulations, Ryan, and thank you. Susan Davis is an information officer too. She's not here in the building today, but she works in our communications division. She oversees, researches, and writes, edits, and implements enterprise-wide communication plans and serves as project manager for internal publication. She also serves the coordination and content and facilitation of internal events such as town halls to assist in the ongoing information of sharing and knowledge transfers. And I work quite a bit closely with Susan on an ongoing basis. So thank you, Susan, for your work on that. And finally, Tamara Carr, I think she's here. I have known Tamara since the first day that I came in for an interview here in 2008, because she escorted me into the building. Tamara is a pension program manager 1, and as a quality management manager, Tamara plans, organizes, and supervises the performance of quality management unit in our retirement readiness division. She provides leadership, direction, and administration of all aspects of retirement readiness quality management activities. She develops and maintains quality management processes and procedures and develops internal controls and risks management protocols. And she oversees the internal controls and risk management practices for the entire division. So congratulations and thank you. Thank you. We are so happy that we were able to introduce all of our virtuosos in person this year. So it's been This is the third year, but 2 years since we've been able to do that. I just wanted to acknowledge a couple of other important changes. We had the appointment of a new chief auditor, Cheryl Cervantes Dietz, and I think that she is here. She was introduced, of course, at the ARM committee yesterday. I wanted to acknowledge her appointment. And then finally, we have a retirement that I wanted to acknowledge. Yvette Gibson. I think she is here. She's stand up. Yvette is exactly the person, or one of the individuals, that Harry referred to as an individual who supports the board behind the scenes. She has worked at CalSTRS since 1986. She announced her retirement. Today is actually her last day, so I didn't want it to pass without acknowledging her. She works in the CalSTRS Copy Center, and she's responsible for our in-house copy services, including printing forms, packets, job aids, manuals, confidential material, and she's responsible for printing, shipping, and preparing our board materials and getting them to our board members in preparation for our board meetings. So she's played a very important role. Thank you, Yvette, for your contribution to CalSTRS, and congratulations. Thank you. That's all I had, but I wanted to hand it over to Julie just for a short update on part of my CEO report that reflects some of the risks that we will be monitoring in the organization. It's a new piece in the CEO report that we will have on a routine basis, unless we're actually having a individual report independently of my CEO report. So Julie's going to speak to that.
I just want to thank you, Cassandra, for continuing the Virtuoso program and acknowledging outstanding workers in the organization and recognizing Yvette on her last day. I love the story around Tamara. She was the person that brought you into the building when you interviewed for your first job here, and 14 years later, you're our chief executive officer, and she's being recognized as a virtuoso. Those are the stories that just make me feel really good about the work that we do. And it's a good reminder in recognizing Yvette and all the virtuosos that every employee at CalSTRS, from our CEO to the people that prepare this board for these meetings, matter. No one more so than anyone else. And those are the values that I think we have to continue to reinforce by what we do and not just what we say. So thank you for continuing that program. Julie?
Chair Keeley, members of the board, Julie Underwood, Chief Financial Officer, and I'm here with Phil Burkholder. He's our risk manager. And at the March meeting, let me take this off. At the March meeting, we had provided you our semi-annual risk report. And in that report included a map of our emerging and existential risks that we are actively evaluating and monitoring. And to provide the board with more regular visibility to those types of risks, we are going to start including this listing in Cassandra's CEO report, as she mentioned, at every board meeting except for the meetings where we provide you with the bigger semi-annual risk report, and we do that for you every March and September. But this is a little bit different view than you saw in that risk report last time. We've regrouped the risks into evaluate and monitor. So for the evaluate piece, those are the risks that we're having continued conversations about and discussions about. Do new risk mitigations need to be added to our program? Versus on monitoring, these are risks where we already feel like we have good mitigations in place, but we still want to keep an eye out on any significant changes that might occur that would adjust our risk approach. So this is just bottom line, giving you a view at every board meeting on our thinking, our latest thinking on all emerging risks and existential risks related to our enterprise risk program. So with that, we're happy to answer any questions you may have. Okay.
Ms. Miller?
Not on the risk report, but I'm really excited about this, and this is a great addition. I have a quick question on our project update, though. Is this an appropriate time to ask? Sure. A new facility? It's just, it was in your report, is that okay? Okay. So we've been, in our office, we were reviewing just a piece that we couldn't quite figure out. So the project contingency was 9 million in the March board materials, and it was reduced to 7 million in these materials. But the whole cost of the project is unchanged. So we don't, can you just let us know where that was shifted? And are we reducing the contingency overall, and should we have reduced the total?
As the project continues, the contingency is going to reduce because dollars have been transferred into certain other line items within the project. So there's contingency that's being used maybe to transfer to soft costs or to hard costs. So you won't see it in the hard cost contingency line item or the project contingency line item because it's been transferred to another part of the project. So it's still within the amount of money within the total budget. That's why you don't see that going up at all.
Oh, got it. Okay, would you maybe just do another line, just contingency cost transfer? Sure. Just so we can sort of keep track of how those contingency costs are being spent down?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thank you very much.
See any other, Ms. Yamamoto?
Hi, thanks, Julie. Just want to ask, what is this going to look like when you do the reports within the executive officer's report? Is it going to be just like this, or are you going to have more details? Or, I mean, what are we going to be seeing when you do this report on a meeting basis?
For now, we think that this is what the report's going to look like, but it's evolving since it's new. And if we think that there's a better way to present it, then we'll be shifting as we go and as we learn more. But for right now, we think this is what the view is going to look like.
Okay, so in other words, we'll have this like the chart, and then you'll have the emerging risks, and you'll have each item there, but that's all that we'll see? So in the oral report, you'll give us more detail?
Well, we weren't necessarily planning on doing a report at every CEO report, just to give you that visibility, and if you had any questions, then we could answer them at that time. But if there's anything that we're not presenting in there that you'd like to see, please let us know, and we're happy to consider how we could incorporate that either within the CEO report or in our bigger semi-annual reports.
Yeah, I guess it'll be incorporated with the semi-annual report.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right, thank you.
No one else is in the queue. Thank you. Item 4 is the annual business plan for 22-23. Turn it over to Ms. Blatnick. Morning, Lisa.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Chair Keeley, members of the board. I'm here to present the fiscal year 22-23 business plan developed to support the board's strategic plan. So we're at the beginning of a decade-long course that the board established in its new fiscal year 22-25 strategic plan, and this graphic shows our planned approach over the next decade. So during this first 3-year period, the focus is going to be on assessing our business readiness and building capabilities towards the board's long-term vision of success. And you will see that this is reflected in the business plan. The 22-23 business plan is the first of 3 annual business plans for the strategic planning cycle. The business plan is a detailed roadmap of initiatives and supporting activities with practical and achievable steps that we'll take to accomplish the board's strategic plan. The agenda item will go over a few highlights from this year's plan and how they fit into the board's strategic plan. So you can see here that we have a new strategy map. So previous plans had 4 goals, and we're focusing this year on 3 goals. And the map also has another change, a couple changes that you may notice. For one thing, we've added the core values under the mission and vision. And the core values are really our guiding principles that help us achieve our mission and vision. And we thought it was really important that we add it to the strategy map. In addition, you'll see the outer ring, if you will, that we call the lens in which we look through to make our decisions. Sustainability and risk management have been on that lens for a while, but this year we added people. And the reason why we think that's important is because people, our members, our employers, our employees, our stakeholders are really important to us, and we need to be thinking of them as we're making our decisions. So the first goal is trusted stewards. So goal 1 focuses on the board's objectives related to funding and governance. This year, we'll begin planning the next asset allocation study in support of full funding by 2046. We'll begin moving forward on the board's net zero pledge, continue the progress implementing the collaborative model, including seeking advanced analytics. And we're taking the last steps right now to operationalize the Pillars project. As you can remember, that was an administrative project to align our processes internally for the support of the collaborative model. We're working to ensure strong partnerships and sharing with our stakeholders, and we will be maturing our risk management and compliance programs. Goal 2, leading innovation and managing change. So this business plan contains several initiatives that will advance the pension solution project. We're also investing resources towards innovation, as Cassandra mentioned. To support the board's objective in this area, we're going to engage an expert to assess our current state, conduct research into workforce and retirement trends, and enhance our cost-conscious culture at CalSTRS. As always, we're focused on customer service. So these initiatives include increasing accuracy of our employee reporting, examining our member service center footprints and technology, deepening our understanding of member journey, and leveraging tools to enhance customer experience. And we have several initiatives that are technology related to produce process improvements to ensure we have the right tools to maximize our efficiency. And then, of course, change management. A focus on the adoption of that new technology is important, and it's also included in the plan. And finally, sustainable organization. So the board's strategic objectives in this area are focused on staffing, ESG principles, completion of the headquarters expansion, and business preparedness. Over the next year, we'll make progress towards incorporating diversity, equity, and inclusion in all of our practices, evaluating our staffing needs and ensuring we can attract and retain the top talent, aligning environmental, social, and governance principles throughout CalSTRS, the successful completion of the headquarters expansion, and enhancing our business resiliency. So we have a lot to do this coming year, but I think we're all poised and ready to do it. And with that, I'll answer any questions you may have.
Questions, comments from the board? Take a deep breath, yeah. Enjoy the work ahead. And we look forward to monitoring and being supportive where we can be on these strategic goals for the organization. Thank you. Brings us to our next item on the agenda, item 5, which is open session pension solution project update. Julie Underwood and Lisa Blatnick, item 5.
I'm going to go ahead and take the lead on this one. So today we wanted to give you an update on the pension solution project. As you know, over the last 7 years, CalSTRS and CGI have been working on the largest technology project in CalSTRS history, building the foundation for a new pension administration system. With CGI's contract set to expire in June of 2023, and knowing we still have a few years to go to complete the project, CalSTRS and CGI have been working on a long-term solution to finish the project successfully. I'm pleased to report that we have solidified a path forward. Both parties have mutually agreed that CGI will transition the remaining portion of the project work to another technology vendor. However, in an effort to ensure progress continues on the project during the transition, CGI will provide knowledge transfer to an interim vendor and will continue to provide some essential services to CalSTRS through the end of the contract next June. In the meantime, CalSTRS will be developing an RFP to find a new integrator to bring the project to completion. You will notice that CalSTRS staff has requested approval via the contracts requiring board approval item to directly contract with Sagitech as the interim vendor. Sagitech is the developer of the NeoSpin product we are using for the new system. And since Sagitech was CGI's subcontractor, they are uniquely positioned to assist us with essential services through this interim period until we complete the full competitive process. Our goal is to ensure that there is no pause in essential project tasks and expect to have a new vendor on board to coincide with the expiration of the CGI contract. We've hired a contractor to confirm the status of the project and to help inform the scope of work that would be developed for the request for proposal for the new vendor. We want to assure the board that we have complete confidence in the NeoSpin product and the ability to partner with a new vendor to complete this important project. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Anyone in the queue? Thank you for the update. Moving right along. Members of the public that would like to comment on any of the items that we've spoken to so far. I apologize for not opening up to the public.
There's no.
Go ahead, Samantha. Okay, thank you. Item 6 is the state and Fed legislation. Joycelyn Martinez.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Good to see you this morning. I don't have any bills to bring to you today for a position, which is a little bit different than the last couple of meetings, but I do want to update you because there was a lot of activity between when the matrix was completed and put into your packets and when the legislature went on summer recess starting July 1st. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the bills in order as they are in your packet. And so AB 1667 is at the top of the list. And this bill deals with overpayment liability guidance CalSTRS provides mostly on compensation as well as our audits and appeals processes. I haven't brought this bill before you for a position yet at this point in time because the content has been shifting. There are additional amendments planned. And so I didn't want to have a discussion about it until it was more finalized. We have been working with the sponsors very closely, and I want to thank them for all of the time they've spent with us on it. It's been many hours we've spent together, and we'll continue to do so as amendments continue to get put into the bill before it completely moves through the process and ends up on the governor's desk. I want to let you know that this bill, AB 1667 and AB 1824, next on the list, which is our housekeeping bill, are both slated for a Senate appropriations hearing on August 1st, when the legislature returns from their recess. Moving down the list, and it's on page 2, AB 1877, dealing with the annual post-retirement earnings limit. That bill was held in policy committee early in the process. SB 868, the bill that board's supporting on the supplemental benefit maintenance account increase, is awaiting an Assembly Appropriations Committee hearing on August 3rd. SB 1173 regarding fossil fuel divestment and SB 1328 regarding divestment from companies in Russia and Belarus were both held in the Assembly Public Employment and Retirement Committee, so they won't be moving forward this year. SB 1343, the bill the board supporting on mandating employees of charter schools into CalSTRS and CalPERS, along with SB 1402 regarding military service purchases. Those will also both be heard in Assembly Appropriations when the legislature returns. Those bills then would mostly go to the suspense file, and if they'll move off of that, the deadline is in mid-August, and then there's 2 weeks left to move bills to the governor. The federal bills listed in your packet, they haven't progressed, although I know a lot of work continues to be done on the WEP and GPO bills. And that's what I have for you today.
Thank you very much, Joycelyn, and thank you for all the work that you do between meetings on bills and legislation that directly impact CalSTRS and our ability to meet our mission. I would just ask the staff to make note, if you could, please send copies of these bills either electronically or update the Diligent site. I don't think the bills were updated into Diligent.
Okay.
They're only information at this point, so there's really no harm, no foul. Just any board members who maybe want more information about the bills, they can reference them and contact you directly.
Right.
Okay,
They're
so
linked
if you-
in the matrix if you need it there, but we can attach them separately as well, so that
Yeah,
might be
please
easier.
just forward them out to the board.
Yeah, great.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
I do know we have a member of the public, Mr. Folia.
Yeah.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. It's good to see you all.
Good to see you.
In person. First of all, I wanted to say thank you for the fine work that you're doing, and really want to address SB 868. It is moving very well. It just passed the Assembly PERS Committee unanimously. Got a vote of 29-2 in the Senate, and this has been a 5-year journey. It's been a long time since we've been able to really address this issue, but through your work here at CalSTRS, we now are in a time when it's only a matter of timing when it will get to the governor's office. So I want to ask each and every one of you to personally contact the governor when this bill is now before him. And each of you have a special relationship with the governor. Your voice will make a difference in whether or not we get this bill signed. So I just think that all of you can just push this over the. You started it, okay? now we are asking you to take the last leg of the relay and take it across the finish line. You can do it. I know you can. And 55,000 of our members will appreciate that. And since I've been a member since 1957, I will also appreciate it too. Okay. I also want to address what happened at our state council meeting last month in Los Angeles. There's a real push to divest, but I want to let you know, I want you to stay the course. I want you to stay the course because engagement is the key to solving problems. Walking away and turning your back to a problem doesn't solve. Looks good, but it doesn't solve the problem. So in any situation, whether it's war or whether it's a job action at a school site, we always seek to get engagement to get solving the problem. So I hope that you will continue the course. And I know that pressure is hard, but this is not an easy job, but we appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Folia. Any other members of the public, Samantha?
There are no other members of the public in the queue.
Thank you. That concludes item 6. Item 7 is a consent action agenda. Are there any polls from items 7A through 7G? Okay, seeing none.
And from your Board Governance Committee from last May, there is an action item to adjust the board's 2023 offsite to eliminate that from the calendar.
Does that need to be read into the record?
It will be reflected, and I just wanted to highlight it for you.
Thank you, Ms. Jennifer. Appreciate it. Okay, we don't need to take a roll, do we? All right. Consent agenda has been approved, and thank you for acknowledging that one item there, Jennifer. Appreciate it. Item 8, information items. Any items referred by the committee for board decisions? I don't think so, right? Great. 9 on new business items or information requests.
Item 3, to add the line item for the contingency cost transfers.
Yep.
And from 6, to send an update of all the bills to the board members.
Great. Thank you. And those can be done between meetings. They can be done promptly. Thanks. Item 10 is the draft agenda. Anything you want to highlight there for us, Cassandra, for our next meeting?
Just some of the things that we talked about today that will be on the September meeting, which is the proposed operating budget is one of the things we bring in September. It's a pretty busy meeting. Our risk management report, that will be the more substantive report that Julie referred to, will be on that meeting. And then the integrating sustainability principles across the enterprise will also be at that meeting. So those are all pretty content-rich information items.
Okay, thank you. Questions or comments about the next agenda? Don't see any. Item 11 is opportunity for members of the public to address the board on items that are not on our agenda this morning. Samantha,
There
any?
are no members of the public in the queue.
Okay. With that, we are going to adjourn out of open session. We will take a 15-minute break. We will reconvene at 10:30, promptly at 10:30 in the board caucus room for the remainder of closed session. So for the members of the public, our public business is done for the day. Thank you. Thank you. The CalSTRS board is back in open session. The board took action in closed session this afternoon on the base pay for the chief executive officer. That's the only item to report out of closed session. The meeting is adjourned.